Welcome to Table for Two. I'm Phil.
And I'm Jane.
And I'm Chris.
What's Chris doing here? Well, that'll be a problem because today's game we're reviewing by Fantasy Flight is called Blue Moon. It is only a 2-player game. Sorry, Chris. Maybe next time we'll play a 3-player game.
Yeah.
Table for two, table for two, having fun,
Playing games, just me and you.
Alright, so as mentioned, Blue Moon is strictly a 2-player game. So now what is Blue Moon? Blue Moon's actually a place, and there's a creator named Blue Moon that it's actually named after. And then one terrible night of doom, as they called it. Ooh, night of doom. The golden dragon fell. Now, we're not really sure who the golden dragon is, but that's what the book says. The golden dragon fell, and then within a day later, the king of the lands died. Everybody's in chaos. The crystal of Psy, which we believe is maybe the protecting crystal in the city.
The holy crystal of the
holy
city.
crystal of Psy, or whatever, crashes into a bunch of pieces. Just a mess. Everybody's a mess. All the people in the city are mad and chaotic, and nobody's ruling anything. It's just a mess. So, in the game of Blue Moon, again, only a 2-player, Philip plays the role of, his name is Prince Roland.
Yes. And Jane is Princess Eleanor.
All right, hold on.
That's better. That mustache itches.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my goodness. Now I feel like a real princess.
All right.
Yay, Princess, where am I? Eleanor. Princess Eleanor, here she
Yes.
is. Here I am.
And I'm Prince Roland.
Yes, Roland.
Roland. Okay.
All right, Roland, I don't know. All right, let's do our review first, and then we'll do a couple of rounds of play so you can see how the game is played. First criteria is normal as it was as easy to learn. Well, not as much as I would have hoped. I mean, it's if you look at the components, it doesn't look too bad, but it really is kind of complex. Blue Moon Legends instruction book is pretty lengthy. It's only about 16 pages, but there is a lot of information in the book. To the point where I was like, hope I can get this pretty quickly and easily, but not really. And then there's this advanced concepts rule book that actually tells you, stop, do not use this until you know how to play.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's okay, but there was points where we actually did look in that, just to clarify some things. So it was a pretty complex rule book. Now, the reason to me why it was more complex, and again, for those of you out there who love these kind of games, don't get mad at me, but it's a deck building game. So when we first opened the package, I looked at the book and I was like, oh boy, this is going to be a lot to read. And then I looked at the fact that there were all of these cards, tons and tons of cards, plus the ones we have on the board here, and I'm going, oh my God, all these cards, what are they for? And of course, trying to figure out in the book what they're all for.
Yeah.
The good news is, these are all different factions, for a better word, different types of groups of people that live in Blue Moon. So when you're playing against each other, you only need, basically 2 decks. You get a deck and I get a deck. You can actually build your own decks from all these cards. There's a whole section of rules that talk about deck building to maybe a proper deck that you'd like to play, different characters and whatnot. But because we've never played before, what is nice is the rule book actually suggests that if it's your first time playing, to use 2 of the families. One's called the Volca family and one's called the Hoax family. So I'm actually playing the Hoax, and Philip's playing the Volca family. Right. And they're pre-designed decks that, I'm going to guess are pretty equal in the way they work, so that way nobody's getting one up on each other, and you don't have to worry about building your deck. So that made a little when I got to
definitely.
that point in the game. So, just between the fact that it's a deck building game, plus the fact that, we didn't know what we were doing and all the cards, it seemed a little overwhelming. And then even something else confused me a little bit. There's these beautiful dragons, which is nice, and we'll explain that, and they're out there. But then there's these beautiful blue crystals, and I'm like, oh, look how pretty. I was just like, this is the coolest looking game. And I read the whole rule book, and I'm reading about how to play for 2 players and beginning game, and they never once mentioned these darn crystals. And I'm like, I really want to use them for something. What are they for? What are they for? Went through the whole rule book like twice, even the advanced one, and I really didn't figure out what these are used for.
Yeah, really.
Hence, they're not. They're
And it's
not.
like, well, they mentioned the crystal of Psi in the
Yeah, well, I knew it was
so-
a crystal of Psi. I assumed it was a crystal of Psi, but I didn't know how it was going to come to play.
Yeah.
Well, it never comes into play, and at least not for this basic game we're playing. But I
Right.
thought just because it's my game, I decided to put them in the middle because these dragons are protecting it anyway. That is the way the story goes. So even though we're not going to use them physically in the game,
Yeah.
there is a reason to use them, by the way, in the advanced concepts. But again, we just put them in there to look pretty. So anyway, we gave it a 3 because it was a little bit confusing and
Yeah.
Whatnot. What about the how I like the way it looks, but I'll let you talk about
Well, you
manufacturing.
already talked about the crystals.
They're
They
so
are
pretty.
beautiful, even though you don't play with them in the basic.
I might use them in another
basic
game for, like, a
but
marker or something.
They were so beautiful. It was kind of cool to have them out here. The dragons
Yeah.
are very nicely made.
Yes, very nice
Very
casting.
intricate.
I could pretend I'm Game of Thrones. Mother of all dragons.
Here we go.
I love Khaleesi.
Oh, hope I don't get burned. And then the board lays nice and flat. The
Really
cards
small,
are
too.
Cards are really nice. So there's not a lot of components of the game here, but we gave it a 5.
Give it a 5. Now, when it comes to fun, again, I'm cautious. We didn't give it a really low score. We gave it a 4, to be fair, because we do believe this game has capability to be fun. But
Yeah.
again, if you remember, when we review a game, we play it for the first time out of the box to see how it all works. And we kind of felt annoyed that we had to keep looking at the directions and making sure we understood the phases of the turn, and
It was almost intimidating. Like, I should
little
really
bit.
be able to play this quicker.
And for those of you who are
And-
really good at gaming, better than us, you probably think this is an easy game to learn. But in our world, again, busy adults, la la la, we just took some time, and it made the game a little less fun because we had to keep reminding ourselves how to play and get used to it. So again, a 4.
Yeah,
Not
toward
too
the
bad.
end, I think it started to click, and
And once we get to learn the other cards potentially, and we
Yeah.
understand more factions and how to use them, I think it could become even a 5. But
Yeah.
right now, we'll give it a 4 for that.
yeah. So game timing was good for a game with this complexity. It was over an hour.
And again, over an hour because I think we kept looking at the rules.
We kept, yeah, because yes, we were. But I think once you play this game a couple times, you probably get some cadence to the way you play against each other, and it wouldn't be too bad. So we gave the game timing 5.
4.
Or
No, we
4.
gave it a 4.
We gave it a 4.
We gave timing a 4, yeah, because
Right.
again, it was just a little over what we thought it should be, but I think it will get better with time.
Yes,
It'll get better
yes.
if we keep playing this game. But talking about that, would we play this game again? I hate to say it, we gave it a 3. If you're a deck building fanatic, this might be a game you play all the time. Phil and I, as you know, judging on the way we judge the games, it has to be easy, fun, easy to pull out and play, not too complex. And I think if we don't play this game for a while, the next time we take it out to play it, we're gonna have to go, First of all, I might go, nah, I think that game was a little too hard. I forgot how to play it. I don't feel like learning it tonight again.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be a distraction to want to play it again. But there's part of us that also say, we want to play it again because we want to try the other factions. If we had time, we could build our own decks. And there's a lot more to this game.
You're going to have to invest more time into it then, just to prepare to play the next time around.
So again, right now in our world today, it would be a 3.
Yeah.
Maybe someday when we're retired and we have lots of time on our hands, this might be a game we play a lot.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yep.
So for this lovely game of Blue Moon, which we do like the game, don't get us wrong, we did give it a 19 out of 25 points.
Yeah. That's
Now,
still not a bad
It's still
score.
not a bad score. It's
Right.
just that, again, part of it could be us, to
Yeah.
be fair, and somebody might, say that on the review. Now, if you want to stick around, though, you might learn it's a little bit nicer for you if you see a couple of rounds of play. So we're going to play this in a few more minutes, and hopefully stick around for that piece. All right, so we're going to play a little bit of the game to show you, but before we start playing, since we are Prince and Princess, we should have some goblets.
Yes.
And today's wine selection, believe it or not, is called King's Point.
That is perfect.
King's Point.
Absolutely perfect.
Because King's dead, so the point of this game is to get the crown.
Yes.
King's Point. So this is a little Chardonnay from California that we're having that looks like
The Kingdom
very
of
yellow.
California.
It's very yellow. Yeah, the Kingdom of California. A little yellow wine for us here. Very yellow. Hope it doesn't taste like yellow. Let's see.
Smells pretty good.
Not bad.
My mustache there.
All right, so go ahead. Let's go ahead and describe the game for us a little bit, Philip.
Okay, so We start by setting up the game with the game board in the middle, just like this.
It's very cute little board.
Cute little board, put our 3 dragons in the middle. Optionally, if you want to put the crystals of Psi in the middle, you obviously
Why
can.
not? They're there.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So, Jane's got a draw deck on this side. I have a draw deck on this side.
For our little family.
We have, as the leader of our family, we put our leader cards on this side of the
And I'm
board.
not even going to try to say my leader's name. It's like Zelthrothgirus. I don't know what his name is.
And
He's got a big
mine
name.
is very simple, Inferno.
Fair enough. So those are the leaders of our
Mage
clans,
incandescent
basically.
of the Volca, so.
Yeah. Leaders of our clan.
And then from our draw decks, we draw 6 cards off the top.
Whoops, Trey did.
I didn't see it.
It's okay.
And then, as the prince, I'm going to let the princess go first.
Thank you, kind sir. Now, in each turn, you actually have 8 phases of the turn. And that sounds daunting, but it's actually not so bad. Now, the funny part is, when we played this whole game through, we looked at the phases, and we never had a phase 1 or phase 8. I'll explain that in just a minute, because it doesn't really apply to the basic game. So it actually only had 6 phases for us. But the first, and it says right on the board, the first phase of your turn, it's called the beginning phase. All that means is, if you have any cards in play that say, at the beginning of your turn, do this or that, you do that beginning of the turn phase. Now, beginning of the game, nobody has anything down anyway, but to be fair, through this whole pile of cards, we checked both of them, there's no beginning of phase turn stuff anyway, for the basic game. So then number 2, leadership. All the cards in the deck have different characteristics. Sometimes you have a character card, sometimes you have a leadership card, sometimes you have what's called a support card, or there's some other types of cards, all sorts of cards in the deck, mutants and all sorts of things. But if you have one that's called a leadership, that's number 2 on the phase, if you want to play a leadership card. Now, I do have one. My leadership card actually says that on this turn, I may play any number of support cards. Okay, what does that mean to you? During your what they call the character phase, when you're building your character to fight the other character, you can use support cards to build up your character's stamina or whatnot. And in the normal game play, you can only use 1 support card. But this is telling me, well, on this particular turn, I can use as many support cards as I want. So that's a leadership card. Now, to be fair, should I be playing that if I only have 1 support card in my hand? Probably not. So it's your choice to play that as a leadership phase.
Yeah.
The third phase is engagement. Okay, so now engagement really says, okay, what do I want to do? Do I want to start a fight? Now, by the way, that's the whole way to get the dragon's attention. You have to kill each other, basically. Do I want to start a fight with Philip? If I don't want to start
Roland.
or excuse me,
Sorry.
Prince Roland, yes. If I don't want to start
I'm
a
already
fight
starting one.
with Prince Roland, yeah, I mean, it would be a fight. I could say I don't want to start a fight, and with that option, I can actually trade in cards. Sometimes you have really crappy cards in your hand, and you want to trade them in for something else in the deck potentially. So you could choose to not start a fight. Now, if somebody else has started a fight, you can then choose to continue that fight, or you can choose to walk away. Maybe you can't win and you need to retreat, as they say. So there are some options there. So during this phase, I can decide what I want to do, and I am going to start a fight. I thought, why not? I'm going to start a fight. So if I want to start a fight, I go to the next phase, which is called the character phase, where I choose which character out of my hand that I want to play to start this fight. And I'm going to use, I can't say these names for anything, Aphrodite, I think that's how you say it, the Seeker. And basically this guy is going to go in my combat area. So anytime you start a fight and you have a character choice, you put them in your combat area. Now, after I choose my character, the next number 5 phase is I can do a booster or a support. Booster cards actually go on top of your character to increase their stamina and whatever they have, hit points or whatnot. Support cards go in the support play area. Okay, so basically what happens is the support cards stay there for basically for the whole turn. Booster cards, you can actually play things on top of them and cover them because maybe you have to beat the other guy's points or whatnot. So I actually do have one support card that I am going to use. It's called the I don't know what this is called. Trebuchet? How would you say that?
Trebuchet?
Trebuchet?
Fear.
Of fear. Yeah, okay. And that I'm going to put that in my support area. Now you'll see the card says support. So then the last thing I do is I announce my power. So as you can see, there's a 5 and there's a 0 on this card, and there's a 2 and then there's a 1 on that card. So I can choose whether I'm going to use the green or if I'm going to use the yellow
which is where this card's going to come into play.
Exactly. I think it's earth and
Fire.
Obviously, I'm going to use the fire. So I'm
Yes.
going to make sure I flag this as, it's, okay, I'm using fire. I'm announcing my power is now a 7. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Once I've announced my power, I refresh my deck. So I only have 3 cards in my hand, so I'm going to pick up to 6 cards. So it's 4, 5, and 6. Now actually, before I did that, it was bad on my part. I should probably go back. Actually, no, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it right where it is. I'm going to leave it there. And then once I refresh my deck, I then do any end moves. That's the 8th phase. End moves are like, when your turn is over, do this or that. Again, I don't have anything saying when your turn is over, do this or that. So I am now done with my turn. Then passes over to Prince Roland over here, who then starts, again, beginning phase. He has no beginning phase stuff
There's no
either.
beginning phase. So
Do you have anything to play on your leader?
I do not have a leadership card, at least not one that I want to play.
Okay,
I
so
actually
now
don't
you
have
have
a
only
leadership
you only
card.
have 2 choices on engagement right now.
Right.
You can choose to run away,
Right.
basically, retreat, or you can choose to fight me.
Right. Now, running away will result in you attracting a dragon,
Correct.
which is the whole point of the game, to attract the dragons.
Yeah, the winner is the one with the most dragons at the end.
So I've got character cards and I've got other cards, so it really kind of
Well, first you
compels
start
me
with your
to
character.
try to play the character. So I'm going to play this character,
Okay.
and I have a little strategy here.
Okay, so he's playing a character right now, just so you know, it has a 1 value.
One
That's okay
for
though.
the fire side.
For the
yes.
fire, because he can do a booster or a support card, one or the other.
So then I'm going to do a, oh, I actually did this wrong. I should have played, see, I actually have nothing to beat you, so I'm going to play a card anyway.
Well, if you have nothing to beat me, then you should retreat.
I should. I actually have nothing to beat you.
Nothing to beat you, nothing over a 7.
Nope, I do not.
Okay.
I don't have a booster that'll help either, now
Alright,
that I
so
realize
instead of
that.
using your
so
cards and using something that doesn't make sense.
I have
so
to
he-
retreat.
So he has to retreat at that point. Okay, so now if he retreats, I attract 1 dragon.
Yes, you do.
So I'm going to say the red dragon for the sake of example. And you put that dragon in your leader area, or I put the dragon in my leader area. Combat cards go away into the there's a discard pile here. And then basically Phil refreshes. He doesn't have to refresh his hand because
Yeah,
he
I
doesn't
have
have 6,
nothing.
and you have no end
Nope,
cards
no
to
end
play.
cards, so I'm just going to stick with the cards I've got.
Okay. Now something else to note: if one or the other person attracts a dragon, if the other person has a dragon, you always take the dragon from the other person first before you go into the pool to collect a dragon.
Right.
Right? So that's important to know. Now, to win this game, I want to point this out as well. Yes, you have to get 3 dragons, but you also have to get to the point where you'd be attracting a 4th.
Yeah.
You don't just get 3 and say, I win. I have 3, and I still have to be able to attract a potential 4th in order to win the game. So just to be aware of that. Just to be aware of that. Okay, so then now it's my turn. Actually, I just wanted to say one thing for the clarity of the end of the game, just for sake of example. Because there's one more thing you can do to end the game. I just want to make sure we let everybody know. Oh, here it is. That's why I have to look at the rule book even here. Okay, so, after a fight or after a player declines to start a fight, and they use the last of their cards, so no more cards, no more in your draw pile, you have nothing left to play with, the game then ends there, and then whoever has the most dragons, in that case, would win. So there's actually 2 ways to win. Get all 3 dragons plus get a 4th potentially, or somebody runs out of cards.
Somebody runs out, yeah.
Okay, let's play a couple more phases. So,
Okay.
so again, beginning phase, I've got nothing to do. Leadership, actually my leadership card at this point, and this is just on my turn, so this goes into my discard pile now, because my turn is now over there. Engagement, okay, so again, I can choose to start a fight, and I think I shall do that with this character, Zed Demetrius the Brain, who's got a character going on here. I can still use a booster, or I can use a support card against it. I think I'll just stick with what I have there.
Okay.
No booster or support. And then power, I'm obviously going to use the sun side or the fire side, and I'm going to make it a 4. So my power is a 4. I then refresh my deck. I only have 5 cards right now, so I'll pick up a 6th. And if there was any end turn things, and again, just double checking, these don't really have anything on here that says there's an end of phase for this starter game. So I'm pretty much done with my turn.
Okay, so I'll start mine again. Nothing to do for the begin phase.
Right.
I'm not playing a leadership card.
Okay.
So I'll go straight to engagement.
Okay, which means you have to retreat or you have to try to get me.
Right. Well, I am going to play a character card.
All
I have
right.
a 7.
Oh, a 7.
That's why I couldn't beat you last time.
Okay. Do you want to boost or support it at all?
No, I am not going to boost or support it.
Okay. All right. And then, of course, you're announcing your power is a 7. That's the
Right.
6. And then refresh your hand to 6 cards. And you have nothing to do for an end game
There
turn.
we go. And, right, nothing to do for end, so it's back to you.
All right. So you have a 7. I have a 4. I could have used that leadership card at this point. However, I do have a support. Well, let me go through my phases. I have nothing to do for beginning. I have no leadership cards, unfortunately, that I can play. I have to fight you or retreat, so I'm going to go ahead and fight you. So I can then play another character on top of that character, which I don't want to do. I'm going to leave my character as is. But I am going to boost the one I have with the Tomb of Wisdom. It's a support card that then matches your 7
Okay.
at that point. And that's all I can do in that case. And then, again, my power is now a 7, so it equates to you. Refresh my hand, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and end of my turn. So it goes pretty quick, honestly. It sounds like 8 phases, oh my gosh. But with this basic game, it goes pretty quick. So we'll just do a couple more. So again, beginning, we have nothing.
Beginning,
leadership.
nothing.
Do
No.
any leadership cards?
No
Okay.
leadership engagement. So now this gets a little bit tricky.
Okay. So I have a 7, you have a 7.
Right. I could.
I'll have to drink some wine on that.
So let's see. The only thing I have is a booster card, and it's a 0. So I don't know what
doesn't do anything
good
good
that's
for you.
going to do
Well,
me.
does it have any trick at the bottom or anything?
No, it does not.
Does it have a shield?
It has a shield, but only if we were playing that way.
Oh, okay, well, that doesn't help
So,
anybody.
So
By the
I'm
way, a
kinda
shield
stuck.
in the game, if you have a shield on your card, you can actually ignore the other guy's power,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of cool.
Now I could play a different character though.
If it's higher than a 7, yeah.
Oh, it's not. It's not higher.
You
than
still got to
7.
try to beat me now.
I am stuck.
You're stuck, so
Yeah.
you're going to retreat.
I have to.
All right, well, I get another dragon. and the cards get discarded.
Another discard.
Did you have 6 cards in your hand now? Make sure you run up to 6.
I have 6. Yes.
All right, so my turn.
Mm-hmm.
No beginning, no leadership. We've got nothing to do there. Engagement. I'm going to go this time with the Catusan. Okay, I don't know if I have any support cards that'll help me here. Oh, maybe. Yeah. I'm going to do this homing missile as a
Okay.
support card. I'm going to turn this back over to the earth side.
And this is where the game starts to go fast. So we're not having to step through. We know what we're doing here. So
Right.
we're already kind of blasting through here.
So now I've got a 7.
Yeah.
Okay, just so you know, power of 7. I'm going to refresh my hand up to 6 cards.
Yeah.
And I am done with my turn. It is now your turn.
Okay. Well, I'm going to try something tricky here and see if this works
Well, first of
out.
all, no beginning, no leadership.
No
just
beginning,
confirm.
no leadership. So
Okay.
I'm going right to engagement. I'm
All
going to
right.
play Flare. Has
All
a
right.
2 on the earth side.
Okay.
But there is a special instruction on this
All
one.
right, go ahead.
During my end phase, so this one actually is
Oh,
the
it does have
end.
an end phase. Okay.
During my end phase, I may draw 2 additional cards.
Okay, that's nice.
Okay, so I'm going to play a booster.
All right.
Now this booster has a shield.
Ah,
This is the
boo.
infernal armor. So the shield says I ignore your amount,
My power.
your power. That's all I'm going to do. So at the end of my turn, I'm going to draw back up.
Yeah. Plus, after you refresh, you can do your end phase thing.
And then, so I draw back up, and yes, now that was the refresh, phase 7, now phase 8 is the end phase, so I get 2 more.
Look at that.
All
It's the
right.
first time I've seen the end phase played. So maybe there was one in there, we just never got to play it last time,
Yeah.
potentially, which is good. All right, very good. All right, so it's my turn. So again, no beginning, I have no leadership, unfortunately, I wish I did. Engagement, I'm still battling Philip, but the good news is, he only still has a 2,
Yeah, because my shield only applied last turn.
and I still have a 7, which is great. Now I could still boost myself, make it even bigger, and make it harder on him, or do a support card. But I think I'm just going to stay where I am right now. I'm going to keep it at a 7, so I'm declaring myself still a power of 7. And then a refresh, but no refresh needed because I still have 6 cards and I have no end game play. So your turn.
It's my turn, so I have nothing for the beginning. I have no leadership card.
Boo.
I I am going to have to retreat again.
You have nothing.
Not on the Earth side.
Aw, that's too bad. So I get another dragon,
Yes, you do.
and these all go bye-bye.
They sure do.
All right.
And then continuing my turn, I am already, because of the
6?
last time, I'm over 6, so I have nothing for end, so go ahead.
I may just win this game right in front of you. Let's see what
You
happens.
really
Might as well just
are.
keep playing a little bit and see how it goes. If it gets crazy, then we'll stop. All right, so again, no beginning, no leadership, unfortunately. I am going to engage in another fight, and I am going to use, I don't know, Ledimuranas, the monk. Please ignore the way I talk about these cards. I apologize. Ledimurus, the monk. Some monk dude.
Okay, he's a monk.
He's a monk. Support or booster cards I'm not going to choose to use. I'm going to be up on the sunny side of the card.
Fire.
Power of 4. Refresh my deck up 1. And I have no end. I believe I don't have anything on the end. Nope. To play. All right. Here to see. See how fast that goes? Your turn.
Okay. Nothing for the beginning, no leadership card. I'm going to go right to, I'm defending in this case.
Okay.
I'm going to play a character, a 6. That's the Scorch the Inflammable.
Ew.
Well, you wanted fire, so. And let's see.
Booster support?
I am going to boost that. I've got a support card. And this support card says you. Whenever it says you, it means the other, as if you're
Yes.
talking to the other person, you cannot play leadership cards.
Well, I don't have any anyway.
And then let's see, refresh.
So now
I've
your
got,
power is a 7.
my power's a 7. I've already got 6 cards, so I have nothing to refresh,
Okay.
and I have no end condition, so it's your turn.
It is my turn. Unfortunately, the only thing I can do here is I can play a different character that has a better power value, or I can support or boost the one I have. Unfortunately, I cannot do either. So unfortunately, I have to retreat this turn,
About time.
which means Philip gets to take a choice of dragons from me.
Right.
So which one would you
However,
like?
I don't get to take the dragon completely over to my side. The dragon goes back to the middle. There's actually 3 positions
that's
for
right.
the dragon.
That's right. Dragon goes back here first.
So I don't just go, hey, I got a dragon. It's like, no, I just basically wooed the dragon away from her.
That's right.
And it's back in the middle
So you
now.
can still earn it later, but yeah.
Yes.
So these are all now dead cards. Dead cards.
Yep.
And then we keep playing. So instead of keep on going, I think you guys
Yep.
get the gist. There's 8 phases to the game. You're basically battling each other to win the affections of the dragons.
Mm-hmm.
First person to get 3 and able to get a 4th wins the game. If everybody runs, or somebody runs out of cards before that happens, whoever has the most dragons first wins. So
Yep.
because we're ending the game around here and here, I win.
You win. If we were, either one of us were to run out of cards,
Because
you
I've
would
got
win
2
right
dragons. Now to be fair though, on the real game, when we had the test,
Yeah.
I won a game.
I
won
was
a game.
1 card away from attracting the 4th dragon, and I couldn't do it.
And I brought them all on my side.
She brought them all over to her side.
Woo! So I actually won this one. Finally, my point scores are going up.
Mm-hmm.
God bless. So hopefully you guys are, some of you might like this game better than we did. I mean, we did like it, but again, different game for us, deck
Yeah.
building and whatnot. Give it a try if you want. Against Blue Moon Legends by Fantasy Flight, which is a really good
Mm-hmm.
game company, as most of you do know already. In the meantime, check us out on Facebook. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We want to get more likes on YouTube and
Yeah.
some viewership would be nice. So please feel free to share with your friends. But in the meantime, we'll see you in the next review. Cheers.
Cheers. Table for Two show created by
Mrs.